With the World Cup finally over and England going out to a Johnny Wilkinson spot kick, normal service resumes, and with that, it's time for another stadium video. This time, we're off to Spain to talk about arguably the country's most famous export. No, not Pablo Picasso or even San Miguel, but a certain team from Madrid that has a habit of recruiting expensive and exotic players.
What's your name, son? Santiago.
Our story starts in the mid-20th century when Real were playing their games at the Estadio Chamartín. But if you know your Spanish history, the country was gripped with a civil war in the 1930s, which left the stadium in a dreadful state after the war. After multiple refurbishments, the stadium was back up and running with a total capacity of 25,000 fans. But this was seen as not enough to accommodate the growing popularity of the team. Something was needed to be done. Along comes a chap called Santiago Bernabéu, who dreamt for a long time of building a new stadium for Los Blancos, and this took a step further to reality when he became the president of the club in 1943. In June 1944, Bernabéu was able to secure land next to the existing Chamartín Stadium, and by October, construction was underway to build a stadium capable of squeezing over 75,000 fans inside. The stadium was completed in December 1947, with the first game being against Real and Portuguese side OS Bulnes. The new stadium would informally be called the New Chamartín Stadium. The club didn't just stop there, and by 1955 the stadium had been expanded to a whopping 125,000 capacity, becoming the biggest stadium of any of the participants in a newly established European Cup.
Look at the size of that fucker!
In the same year, the club would also agree to change the name of the ground to honour President Santiago Bernabéu. The next substantial changes didn't occur until the 1980s, when Spain would host the 1982 World Cup, and FIFA requirements would demand the stadium to have a roof covering at least 2/3 of the fans, which meant the stadium's capacity was reduced from 120,000 to 98,000, but at least the ground got to host the final. With the arrival of the Taylor Report in the 1990s, it wasn't just English football grounds that would implement its recommendations. Over the decade, the stadium's capacity would be reduced from 106,000 fans to just 74,000 to ensure the ground could be an all-seater stadium. The works would include the creation of a new amphitheatre on the west stand, doubling the height of the stadium from 22 metres to 45.
Not too sure that was a clever move.
The increasing height would cause problems in the winter, with 2/3 of the pitch being left in the shade, causing havoc on the pitch. The solution was to install a pipe system directly underneath the pitch, in which hot water would pass through to stop the turf from freezing over. The club would further improve the stadium during the 2000s, but it was in the late 2010s which would see the ground radically transformed. The plans for the new expansion will see the stadium wrapped in a new facade consisting of illuminated steel strips, a new retractable roof, but the pièce de résistance, taken straight from the Tottenham playbook, will be the pitch, which will be fully retractable, allowing the stadium to be used for all sorts of events, from exhibition to basketball matches, which will obviously generate more income as Mbappe's wages won't come cheap. To provide an area to store the pitch, an underground cave 30 metres deep was constructed directly underneath the grandstand, providing a space without disrupting an underground suburban train line which passes directly beneath the pitch. The plans will also see an addition of an extra tier to accommodate an extra 4,000 fans. With a total cost of upwards of €1 billion and an estimated completion date of summer 2023, the upgrades will cement Los Blancos as one of the world's premier teams and surely see a certain Mank crying profusely in his Bentley.